Hey there, do you dream of escaping into a book? Maybe your escape includes a cozy cabin in the mountains or a magical town along the coast. Either way, you're in the right place. Welcome to Literary Escapes with me, Becky. This year on the podcast, we're exploring the United States. So every week I'm going to bring you a new book set in a different state. So let's see where we're going today. So welcome back to the Literary Escape podcast. We are continuing our journey through the United States, and today we are hitting North Dakota. Our tour guide is author Ellen Jacobson. Welcome, Ellen.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I am happy to have you here. North Dakota is I think it's like the state that's probably, if you're trying to hit all 50 states, it's probably either number 49 or number 50.
Right. Yep.
That's
fair.
My sister.
Or you just drive through it. Yeah.
Exactly. My sister had to go there kind of specifically to hit 50. And
so she like purposefully tried to get all 50 states. That's amazing.
She did. Yeah, she did. And so she had been through South Dakota because there's
right.
Is that where the Badlands are?
There's also Badlands in North Dakota, which are gorgeous.
Okay. And so then Mount Rushmore's in South Dakota, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I know she did that one and didn't make the trek up, but then had to go back later to hit all 50. So tell me about North Dakota.
Well, my husband's actually the one from North Dakota. So he's a proud, born and bred North Dakotan. And to be honest, I didn't know much about North Dakota when I met him. We met in Michigan.
Yeah.
So like, oh, North Dakota.
It's somewhere over and up.
Yeah, right. Never been there. It's near Canada, right? That's the extent of my knowledge. But through him, I really, got a love of North Dakota. It's there's like less than 1 million people. So it's a big state. So it's probably one of the bigger states in the country, but not that many people. So I always joke with him saying, you must know everybody. And is this person your cousin? And, it's a little bigger than that. But it's absolutely gorgeous. It's in the Great Plains. So you can see forever and ever and ever,
Okay.
There's trees, but there's not like trees where I grew up in Ohio.
But there's no mountains, obviously.
No, well, no, I wouldn't say so. No, flat, and you can see. It's the Badlands are the thing that I just really enjoyed the most in our trips there. And it's just such a different environment.
So what are the Badlands? What does that entail, I guess?
Did you ever see like all those old Western movies or anything where it's just like desolate and there's nothing there but these incredible rock formations and everything?
Right. Yeah.
So think of like that. That's
okay.
And it's just a really unique natural setting. Just absolutely gorgeous. So we did some camping there and that was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was great. And then people are always familiar with Fargo from the movie and the TV series.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
And then Bismarck, which is the capital city.
Okay.
So, but
So are buffalo part of, or bison, I guess, part of North Dakota? Okay.
Yeah. Yep. You can definitely see them there. And in fact, I have a buffalo as one of the characters in my book that we're going to talk about.
Oh, fun. So, okay.
Yeah, they're like fascinating creatures, but you definitely, want to stay away. So
for sure,
goes, don't pet the fluffy cows.
Exactly.
Stay away.
But never a good idea.
Yeah, but incredibly majestic beasts.
They are. I saw buffalo in both Wyoming and Montana. Yeah. And they are impressive, massive creatures. And yeah,
you need to respect them.
For sure. The people who think that it's okay to get close for that selfie, bad idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. Yeah. The other thing that it's North Dakota's famous for, this is where Sacagawea was, where Lewis and Clark met her.
Really?
Yeah. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can go see some of the sites there and stuff if you're interested in those early days of settlement of Native Americans.
Is that where the trail starts, or does it just go through the Lewis and Clark Trail?
That I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to
Okay.
pass on that.
Okay.
Too much history.
Yeah,
Um,
no worries. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Interesting. I'm gonna look that one up later, but I that's interesting because I there's someone that I know that did, I don't know what that even means, but did the Lewis and Clark Trail.
Okay.
And it just kind of hit me when you said Sacagawea. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a
So
lake
yeah,
Julia in North Dakota. It's a reservoir that's like people go boating on and stuff. So
very cool.
yeah. And then
Is it
Lawrence.
are there lots of Indian Native American reservations?
Yes, there are. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Um,
thank you. That's interesting glimpse into North Dakota. I like
yeah,
that.
definitely people should make it on their list there. It's a
Yeah, it
great state.
sounds like
People
it.
are super friendly.
I like that. Very cool.
Yeah.
Um, so you have a super interesting background. When I was reading through your your bio and on your website, you've had a lot going on, and writing is just like one of the things.
Hmm.
And but traveling is a huge part of your past, maybe your
Hmm.
life now as well. But I want to talk about your journey to becoming an author and how that came about.
Yeah, I'm not one of those people that was always a writer when they were a little kid. So I definitely came to it later in life. Um,
Yeah.
we had we had bought our second sailboat when we came back to the States, living in Florida. And my husband was away working in Scotland for many months out of the year. So I'm sitting there on this sailboat. There's alligators swimming around in the marina. I'm thinking it's very hot. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I need to do something with my time other than work on boat projects. So I started a sailing blog. So back in the days when blogging was really popular. And
Right.
I'd write about my experiences living on a sailboat and all the misadventures and, try and make it humorous and,
Sure.
make it a little bit more interesting. And so I got really into that, into blogging and writing, and it was a real creative outlet. And then one of the things I did was I wrote basically a Nancy Drew fan fiction on my blog. So I
Oh,
did
fun.
several blog posts about the case of the missing anchor. So imagining if Nancy Drew lived on a sailboat and an anchor went missing and everything that happened. And my mom read that and she's like, "Oh my gosh, that's so much fun. I love it. You know what you need to do is you should write a cozy mystery because we both love cozy
Yeah.
mysteries." And, you don't say no to your mom, do you?
No.
No, you
No.
shouldn't. So, I've said, sure, my husband's still away. Why don't I just give it a go just for funsies? So I did. I wrote this cozy mystery set at a marina in Florida, go figure. I'm
Right,
living
what
on
you
a boat in
know?
Florida, right? Yeah, right, what you know. Um, and then next thing you know, I got it published. And then there was another one, and another one. And I loved it. It was so much fun writing and just something I never thought I'd end up doing.
That's so
So
fun.
yeah, but it's
So,
all down to my mom.
well, thank you, Mom, right? What a fun start. Now, you have traveled extensively. Does that show up in
Mhm.
your books?
It shows up. I have two cozy mystery series, but I also have a romantic comedy series that's called Smitten with Travel. So each of those books is set in a different country
Oh,
that I've
very
visited.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've
Okay.
got my Florida series, my North Dakota series, and then my international series.
Fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, where is the favorite place that you visited?
Well, North Dakota, of course, because that's where my husband's from. If it hadn't been from North Dakota, I wouldn't have met him and married him.
Right.
Um, but after that, it's people always ask that question, and it's generally the last place I've been.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to pick a favorite. I don't know. I don't know if I can.
Okay.
Been lucky enough to live in Scotland and New Zealand, and those were two incredible countries. So
I would
maybe I'll pick
imagine,
both
yeah.
since I lived there.
New Zealand's supposed to be really beautiful. I've heard that from a few
It
different people. And
it is beautiful. So if you think of North Dakota in terms of Great Plains, very cold winters, you can see for miles. New Zealand has got these Southern Alps, these incredible, majestic mountains that you might see in like the Lord of the Rings movies. And then
okay.
it's also got this subtropical environment up north.
Yeah,
So it's just such a it's amazing. Different
that's
from the
really cool.
subtropical to the mountains. Yeah.
Yeah, and being in the southern hemisphere, everything's
Yeah,
upside
yeah,
down.
yeah. Yeah, Christmas on the beach,
Yeah,
have a
yeah, that's
barbecue.
such a crazy idea to
Yeah,
think about that
yeah,
that
the height of
things
summer.
happen differently.
Yeah, it's
And
very strange.
up north is my down south,
Right.
toward the hotter weather is up north and
Yeah. Yeah, it's
yeah.
just hard to realize, like, Christmas is in summer there. It's hard to get
Yeah.
my head around it.
That's same. It's hard to wrap my brain around all of that.
Mm,
So that's fun. Now, you started in your degree is in anthropology, is that right?
yeah. Yep, correct. Yeah.
And so does that play into any of your books in any way or
No, I'd have to say not really. More anthropology is about being interested in what makes all humans the same and different. So I guess through writing, I'm always curious about different people and their motivations. And then, probably thinking about my Smitten series, the different countries and those cultures. So maybe indirectly, but
yeah,
not
yeah.
directly. Yeah.
I guess it's my words are escaping me, but a
Writers, words
career
are
or
hard,
yeah,
right?
exactly. This is how it goes. Like a career where if you're interested in people and what they do and why they do it,
Yeah.
that's kind of one of the places you can go, right? But
Yeah.
is it more historical or not necessarily?
What anthropology can be historical, can be contemporary. It's very broad
Okay.
ranging. So you can look
Okay.
our distant past and contemporary. I did linguistic anthropology, so looking at languages and culture. So I
That
guess
sounds
that
super
does relate
cool.
to writing. Yeah.
Very cool. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
Interesting.
fascinating. I loved it.
That
It's a
would be a
great.
really interesting cozy mystery series where you have a linguistic anthropologist as your person.
Ooh, ideas.
Always
Nice.
ideas, you know?
Yeah,
So, are you self-published or do you go
I
through
am.
Okay,
I'm indie published. Yep.
nice.
Um,
I
yeah.
love that. I love that
Yeah.
there is that option for us. And
Yeah, I just love that there's choices. There's no right or wrong answers.
yeah,
And people can be indie, they can be traditional, they can do both. You do what's
yeah,
right for you. Yeah.
yeah. I love that. So, the series that we're going to talk about is the North
Hmm.
Dakota Library series,
Right.
and um, the first one being Murder at the Library. So tell me all
Correct.
about
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah. So this series was inspired by two important people. One, my husband, obviously, he said, "Oh, come on, set one in North Dakota. That would be fun. I would love that." And then my sister, who's a retired librarian. So I brought the two
Nice.
together and I thought, okay, there's not a lot of cozy mysteries set in North Dakota. I
Mm-mm.
know of one, two others. So I thought, great, that'd be a really unique setting. And then who doesn't love a library themed cozy mystery? People,
Exactly.
readers love books, it's fun. So,
Exactly.
yep. So it's pretty much what the title says, Murder at the Library. We've got my amateur sleuth is named Thea Olson. So she's Scandinavian American. She lived in Minneapolis. She went to college there and got her job there. And then, as they often do in cozy mysteries, the woman moves back home. So she moves back to her small hometown. It's a fictional town called Y, North Dakota. It's in western.
WHY.
Yep, yep. WHY. Why not?
That's
Why not?
awesome.
So it's a town that's set in western North Dakota. If people are familiar with Williston, North Dakota, it
Okay.
would be near there. So that's the biggest city proximate to Y, North Dakota. So Thea moved back to Y because why not? She moved back there.
I love
And
that name.
yeah, she uh, she has a job. She does organizational development consulting, so working with companies on training, leadership development, etc. So she's able to have a consulting business. So when you have amateur sleuths, they really need jobs that are flexible because they're always out investigating
Exactly.
bodies and interviewing suspects. So she's able to live in this small town in North Dakota because she has a consulting business, so she can work from home and whatnot. And in that part of North Dakota and lots of North Dakota with the oil boom recently, housing has been a real short supply and hard to get, et cetera. So when she moved
Okay.
back, she moved in with her grandparents. So I love that dynamic of her living with her grandparents in that family scenes. They have their dinners in the kitchen, etc. And so she lives there with her grandparents. She does her consulting gig. Her brother's a police officer, and he's actually the acting chief of police, but he's really in over his head because he doesn't know what to do.
Okay.
And their grandmother was the retired library director. So their family founded this library in Y back in the late 1800s. So it's always been this tradition that the women in the library are librarians and library directors, except Thea, who did her own thing. So when she
Shame
moved
on
back
her.
home, I know. So when she moved back home, her grandma said, look, you need to volunteer at the library at the very least.
At the very
So that,
least, yeah.
at the very least. So that was my way of having my amateur sleuth be in the library without being a librarian. There's a lot
Right.
of library series where they're the librarian or the library director, but I wanted her to have a different take, being a volunteer, because I
I like
volunteer at
that.
my local library.
Yeah.
So she's a volunteer there, and they have a new library director named Hudson. He's very nerdy and cute in a nerdy sort of way, wears his cardigans and everything. And
Love it.
he's a recent transplant from Florida, so the snow,
Way out
the
of his
winter,
range. Yep.
way out of his comfort zone. So here he's from Florida, moving to a small town in North Dakota. So there's going to be a little romance,
You gotta have,
some
yeah.
fun throughout the books. Yeah,
I like the fish out of water idea,
right.
where you put somebody somewhere where they completely don't belong.
Yeah.
And
It's a
yeah,
great way for Thea to introduce him to North Dakota and explain things and see the state from his perspective. So in a way, it kind of mirrors me and my husband. He's the North Dakota
right.
native. I'm learning about North Dakota. So it's a good dynamic.
That's it. Yeah, I like that. That's a
Mhm.
fun way to introduce the readers to North Dakota as well.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
without it being teachy, so it's a natural way of doing that. I like that.
Yeah. So Hudson's just started his job. She's volunteering. And then, like his first day on the job, there's a dead body in the library.
In the library. Ugh.
In the library, murder in the library. So of course, naturally, she's got to help solve the case. So her, along with her grandmother, grandmas, they offer this great advice, everything. And then with Hudson, so the three of them, they're like the three investigators, if you remember those classic
I
children's books.
do.
Right?
Loved those.
So they team up. They're like my trio of investigators.
Nice.
Thea's the lead, but she has her grandma and Hudson helping her. And then she has a bit of a surprise. So this is a cozy mystery with a very light paranormal element. So there's no witches or magic or anything.
Okay.
But suddenly one day, a chameleon appears from the library, a really snarky chameleon who's originally from New York City, So he's just sounds like he's a chain smoker. He's 80 years old, but he's a chameleon. He pops up and only she can see him.
Oh,
And
no.
he offers her these cryptic clues, based upon books. So go look over on the shelf over here, and he'll suggest a book, and there might be something that prompts her thinking. So
That's
it's
so
a very different take. So only she can see this chameleon.
So are chameleons in North Dakota, is that like a thing?
They are. I don't hear about him too much. So that's what's confusing. Yeah. So he can only be in the library. He loves hot dogs, but it adds this kind of humorous angle where she's
for sure.
This very obnoxious chameleon.
Oh, that's so funny.
Offers clues. And then of course there's the town buffalo.
Oh.
Because every town has a buffalo, right? But he's
at
different.
least in North Dakota, right?
Yeah. But unlike the buffalo, in reality, do not approach the buffalo, do not pet the fluffy cows. But this buffalo is like an overgrown cat. So he is constantly coming up to people, wanting little scratches, wants some carrots, handouts and stuff. So he's another little fun side character.
That's
so
really funny.
A humorous twist on the buffalo.
How fun.
Yeah.
And so we get to know the town of Y.
Yep. And there's a lot of references to North Dakota food, Scandinavian heritage.
That's I was going to ask about that.
Yeah.
Are there big Scandinavian communities in North Dakota?
Yeah. So
okay.
North Dakota, a lot of Scandinavians, Norwegians. My husband's family is Norwegian American. A lot of Germans too settled in North Dakota. So you'll find those
Okay.
two groups, Icelandics people, there's other folks as well, but
Yeah.
you'll find the largest Scandinavian festival, you'll hear about like, Host Fest and stuff like that. So
Very cool. My husband's family is Scandinavian, Norwegian, and they come through Minnesota. So
right,
they're all
right.
kind of
Yeah,
right there, which is what was,
right.
yeah, I was curious if that was the
Yes,
same.
there's
So
definitely that link.
nice.
And
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So we talk about food a lot, and there's recipes at the back, Grandma Olson's recipes.
Nice. Olson's
Yeah,
a good
yeah,
Scandinavian name.
right. Yeah, Thea Olson, Thea, and her
Nice.
her grandfather's name is Thor, which that happens to be the names of my husband's grandparents, Thea and Thor.
That's awesome. We went up to Minnesota actually
Hmm.
recently. My husband's mom passed away, and so we were
Sorry.
interning her in with her husband, and I was walking around the cemetery, and there was a Thor with our last name, and I was like, "That is so cool!" So I took a picture
Yeah,
and sent it to my kids.
yeah, yeah,
This
yeah,
might be your relative, Thor.
yeah, yeah. Who knows? Our husbands might be related.
Yeah, who knows? That's so funny. I love it. So
Yeah.
yeah, funny. Um my kids grew up with foods like lefse and
Right, right. Yep, I learned
um
my father-in-law taught me how to make lefse.
okay, yeah, my grand or their grandma taught them how, at least
Yeah.
my daughter, how to make it. And the tea ring, Swedish tea ring was a
Mhm,
big part of our Christmas Eve, and the
mhm.
fish, lutefisk.
Lutefisk, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah. My husband always talks about they would go hunting and then they go to the meatball and lutefisk suppers at the local churches and things. So yeah,
oh, funny. I love it. I'm
yeah.
looking
So
forward to reading the book because
yeah,
that'll be enjoyable to get some of
yeah,
those pieces that are
yeah,
recognizable. I like that.
yeah. It's a lot of fun to get his input on it.
I would imagine, yeah. That's
Yeah.
kind of fun to be able to pull people into your series in a fun way like that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Did your sister offer up advice on the library piece of it, or did you know
Yeah,
enough
yeah,
about?
so she read the first one, just said, "Yep, this doesn't quite make sense," or "This makes sense," and yeah, yeah, definitely. So
That's fun.
it's like I think of this series as my love letter to librarians because they're like the most awesome people in the
They
world.
truly are. They
They really, I
truly
mean,
are.
they're there to help you, give you information, connect you with the right book for you. They're
Yeah.
amazing.
They
Yeah.
they absolutely are. Libraries, I find it interesting how much flack libraries get for
Mm,
being funded by the state or
mhm,
whom, whatever.
mhm.
But they offer so many services to so many people,
Right.
and such an important piece of communities. And
Yeah, I think of them as the living room of the community because they
yeah,
really are where they bring people together, people from all different backgrounds, all walks of life. They reflect the community that they serve. And that's what they're. They're there to serve
yeah,
the
and they
community.
do, which is
Yeah.
super cool. And books are the backbone of libraries, obviously, but they're
Yeah.
definitely not the only part of them. So
Right. Right. There's like my library and lots of libraries have what's called library of things. You can check out
I've
a
heard
whole range,
about
like
that.
a telescope you might want to check out, or a popcorn maker, or a camera, or just different things you want to try
So
out.
cool. That is
Yeah,
so cool. I love that.
yeah,
And they have in ours they have like kits for younger kids with
right.
like toys and books and such, I
Hmm.
guess, themed maybe.
Yeah,
But just so amazing how clever they are and
yeah, yeah,
getting resources for people that they might want.
yeah,
So
yeah.
kind of cool. I like
They're a
that.
treasure. Yeah,
So this series has 3 in it so far. Is that correct?
it has a prequel,
Oh,
Planning for Murder. So
okay.
that's the one where we see Thea move back to North Dakota and sets up the series, and we
Nice.
learn at the library. The second book in the series comes out next week. It's called Poisoned by the Book. So
Ooh.
yeah, so a
Okay.
poisoning name if you couldn't guess. Yeah, um,
Nice.
yeah,
I like
yeah, and then
that.
the third one I'm in the middle of plotting it out, will be coming out, well, next year, called A Death for the Records, because Grandpa Olson has a giant ball of twine, and Guinness Book of World Records is going to come see if it's truly the biggest in the country.
Wasn't there a big ball of twine, or is it rubber bands, but somewhere
There's,
like in Kansas or something?
there is in Kansas, yeah. So
I feel
you'll
like
see.
it's on Route 66, but I'm not
I've
positive on that.
I've been to that one. It's amazing. So that's what
That's
inspired. That's what inspired this giant
I
ball of
love
twine.
that.
I bet Grandpa Olson could have a bigger one.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, have you traveled to all 50 states?
No, I haven't. I've traveled to a lot, but
Yeah.
no, I want to.
Yeah. Okay. I'm curious
Yeah,
which, do you know what
yeah,
off the top of your head which states you're missing or not really?
I don't know. It's probably like a lot in the middle because I grew up in Ohio, so I visited there. Living in Oregon on the West Coast, and living in Florida, and I lived in DC. So I've done a lot of the East
Yeah.
and the South. I think it's a lot of the middle ones.
Okay.
I don't think I've been to like Oklahoma, for example. Um,
Yeah. I was talking to
Tennessee.
an author, her book was set in Nebraska, and
Oh yeah. Oh
that's
no,
one
I've
of
been
the
to
states
Nebraska.
I've not been to, for sure.
No, I've been there. That is beautiful state. Absolutely
That's
beautiful.
it sounds like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I love about this series that I'm doing, hitting all 50 states
Yeah.
is just talking to authors. They don't have to be from the area, but just who
Hmm.
have been there where it inspired a
Yeah.
book or books from that area and their take on the state
Yeah.
and why they wanted to write a book set there. And it's been so fun to learn about all these different places that some of them I've been and a lot of them I haven't. And so that's been a lot of fun to learn so much about our country.
Yeah. That's what I love about reading anything is you just get a different perspective. So like you're sitting in your armchair and you're traveling and you're learning about
Exactly.
things. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. That's for the past 3 years, I had a book club where we just traveled around the world. That was kind of
Oh, yeah, I did that. Yeah.
the point of it. And, talk to authors who wrote books in all these different places.
Yeah.
And
Oh, did you really? Okay.
it was so interesting. And, some of them lived there, but a lot of them just visited there,
Right.
places that they enjoyed being. And um, so interesting. And to
Oh, yeah.
see their vision of this place put down in a book is so interesting. I
Oh, yeah.
think
I
that's
did
so
that around like
cool.
80 books around the world or something. It was
Okay.
great. Yeah.
Okay.
'Cause you could read stuff you wouldn't normally read, right? And
Mhm. Mhm.
hmm,
That's yeah, our first one was what I think it Jen shoot, I just forgot. It was a takeoff on Around the World in 80 Days.
okay.
And it was a fun Jen McKinley, I think it was, that
Okay.
she wrote kind of a romance twist on it.
Oh,
And it was a ton of fun. And
okay. I'll write
so
that one down.
that's what got us started. I wasn't planning
Yeah.
on it, but that one kind of took us off. So
Well, I love this idea you have here of traveling around the states.
it's
It's
been a
great.
lot of fun. And I've thoroughly enjoyed meeting all these different authors. You are week number 30, so my 30th author, 30th state. And so it's just kind of crazy to have
Mm.
spoken to so many authors already this year. It's kind of
Oh,
crazy. So a lot of fun.
thank you for doing it. It's super
Yeah, and
cool.
thank you for representing North Dakota and having a really fun series set there. I am
Yeah.
excited that there's more coming. That's really a lot
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
fun. So,
Well, it's a big state. There's a lot to say about it.
well, I look
A lot of
forward
dead
to it.
bodies.
I look forward to it, and I look forward to getting to know why North Dakota. I think that's a awesome name for a town. Thanks for joining me today, Ellen. I really enjoyed
Thanks,
chatting with you.
Becky.
Thanks for joining me today. If you'd like to be part of the Read Across the U.S. Book Club, I'd love to have you join us. There is a link in the show notes, so just head down there and click, and we will welcome you in. So see you in the book club, I hope. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week with a new episode.